What's going on, guys? Hopefully this has gone live. At some point, I'm going to stop asking that question and just assume that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And it looks like it has yet again. So yeah, that is the last time you'll hear me say that. We are doing a live stream tonight that is going to show you a few different things. We've obviously got our 22 grinder. We always use that. I've got the 11-pound stuffer. I've got the quick patty maker, but I've got the little insert. So I'm going to make sliders tonight. We're also not using a sausage or a patty seasoning. We're going to use a sausage seasoning. For the longest time, we've been using jalapeno popper for a bunch of other things. We've made snack sticks out of it. We've made even summer sausage out of it. And it's excellent for all those. Excalibur's jalapeno popper is one of the better seasonings, in my opinion, humble opinion, that we sell. We're going to make sliders out of it, so patties. I think it's going to be excellent. We're also going to top them with just a little bit of cream cheese, at least some of them. We're going to get some bacon cut up on there. So we're making jalapeno popper, bacon, cream cheese, sliders. So that should be absolutely delicious. I've got a pork butt. I've got some beef in here, so we're going to do like a 60-40 mix, probably a little bit more pork than beef. Normally when we're making any type of burger, we do 100% beef. But when I was using nothing but the 11-pound stuffer, and when we didn't have the stuffer flusher eggs, which are those things that push all the meat out, we would always end up with a quarter pound, a half pound, something like that, at the bottom of the canister and in that little outlet there that we couldn't do anything with. So I started making patties out of it, and I found that I really do like a pork patty. So we're doing a 50-50 mix-ish. I think this is going to be absolutely amazing, or at least I hope it is. We're going to wait just a little bit here to make sure that everybody's able to join before we get going. I've got my Miller Lite here. I believe I'm seeing different things in, well, and yet again, I've done it. I shouldn't be allowed around technology. I think I made fun of Patrick on the podcast the other day. I told him that I didn't wish he'd never been born, but I did wish that he was born in a time where there was no electricity. And that's a Theo Vaughn joke, but it's a great one. I also think maybe I should have been born around that same time. So we will give everybody just a few minutes. Oh, and that was fairly delicious. Love those Miller Lights. They go down like absolute perfection. Where is my beer? I have another one to pour in there, is what I'm talking about. I'm going to snag one while we wait just a couple more minutes. We'll probably get going here around 6:05. I'm going to cook everything on the cast iron griddle. I'm going to actually pop outside and turn that on. While I do that, I'll take you guys with me because it is freaking gorgeous outside tonight. So this is one of the nicest, if not the nicest night I remember in an incredibly long time. It's like 60 something degrees out here right now, high 60s. I have the beautiful concrete plant in the background. I mean, a train with a bunch of graffiti on it. How can you not love that? Weather is perfect. We're gonna get this griddle going, and then we're gonna get to processing. Just make sure those are all on, and they are. We're gonna turn them down, close that lid, let that get nice and hot, and we've got our keys outside so we don't lock ourselves out. Throw them right on the ground there. Only way I've found to make sure that I don't do that. All right, so here we go. We're gonna start by cutting up this pork butt, and we'll cut up the beef, get to grinding. Now this is the Walton's one shot. This is a dual grind, meaning it's gonna do both grinds in a single pass. I've got a 3/16 plate on the outside, and it's gonna chew through this stuff like nothing. When I go to mix, I'm just gonna do hand mixing. I don't want to get any type of action on the meat like a mixer would do. I just want to get the seasoning mixed into everything. I will do my best to put a piece of pork down there, a piece of beef, and alternate it back and forth. Now, normally I would use our 30-pound electric stuffer, but when I'm using the quick patty maker, I actually prefer the 11-pound sausage stuffer. It's just a little bit quicker on the stop, so we're able to control how much meat goes into the cavity a lot better. So I do generally like to use that instead. All right. There we go. Dwight, where are you? I assume you're saying same here as in it's so nice. Weather is absolutely out of control. There was a real thought of, do we really need to do a live stream tonight? Couldn't we just go play golf? But I need to cool it with the golf this year. I played way too freaking much last year and spent way too much money. So we're going to be smarter with our finances in 2026. Again, I mean, you guys have seen how I bone out a pork butt a million times. There's nothing secret about it. I just like to separate as much of just the meat from the bone as I can. And then I come back and just start working all of the stuff I can get off of the bone. You can be as accurate or just as sloppy and quick as you want with this. It's your meat, but you paid for it. Something died for it. In general, I think it's much better to pick off at least as much of it as possible. Central Iowa, nice. Yeah, I've heard good things about Iowa recently. We had Cast Iron Kennels on the podcast. I talked to a few other people who spent some time up in Iowa recently doing some hunting. They say it's absolutely gorgeous up there in central Iowa. So hopefully you're in that part of it. Is that Corey? Nice Red Sox thing, by the way. I just watched something 2 days ago on the 2004 comeback, which, by the way, I was at the parade for when they won. All right. Here's my pork butt. I generally don't worry too much about this gland. Some people do, some people don't. But when it's right on the edge like that, there's no reason not to just cut it out. I don't think that it makes a huge difference. But if you see it while you're cutting it out, or while you're cutting up your pork butt, you might as well toss it. There's no reason to include that. It's not something that you generally like. You wouldn't desire to eat that. So we're just going to cut that out. And we're going to grind everything up, measure it. And I'm going to use this because this is not a patty seasoning, right? This is a sausage seasoning, but I'm still going to use it at a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning the bag of the patty season, or the jalapeno popper seasoning, says that it'll do 25 pounds with 1 pound of seasoning. So that is 0.64 of an ounce per pound of meat. So we're going to grind everything, we're going to weigh it, and then we're going to figure out exactly how much seasoning we need. We'll get this out of the way for just a second. Now, I've got a special treat for you guys. Something really ridiculous showed up here. It's not ridiculous, it's just huge. We have a Hall 500 in the house. We were doing some testing on it on the commercial side. I wanted to show you guys what the auger looks like on that. Now, for reference, let me show you what a Walton's 22 auger looks like. This is the head. And this is the auger. Easily fits in one hand. I could lift it, balance it with one finger, right? So just keep in mind, this is a retail piece of equipment and it's a 22. What I'm about to show you comes from a either 3 or 500. Just keep it in mind. It's going to give our auger a little bit of a complex because look at the size difference there. This thing, I can hardly hold it up with one arm. So that is a true commercial size auger. I mean, a 32 can be a commercial piece of equipment, absolutely. But this thing's a beast. I mean, it is about as tall from my hip up to my head, close enough at least. I'm not the tallest person in the world, but still, it is a serious piece of equipment, and it's got to weigh something like 40 pounds would be my guess. 40 something pounds. It is seriously heavy. The size of the grooves on the auger lets larger pieces of meat get grabbed and pushed down to this huge plate that will be up here. So this is a real heavy duty piece of equipment. Pretty awesome. It's made, the whole unit is made in Australia, and this is just one piece of it. So think about how big that's got to be if this goes here, and it is pretty much, I mean, that's pretty proportional. That 500 or 300, whatever it is unbelievably big. So let's get this out of here. I was just getting things ready to clean later. I saw that and I thought you guys might enjoy it. So let's get our grinding going. Everything, as usual, has already been sanitized and white oiled. White oil is one of those things that is an awesome and easy way to make your cleanup so much easier. I white oil my lugs, my trays, obviously the entire grinder head assembly. I do everything on my stuffer too. It's just when you hit it with water, the meat flows right out. It's especially important if you're doing anything with cured sausage. When we're doing cured sausage, we're gonna mix. We're gonna get a lot of protein extraction. That stuff grabs to each other and it starts setting up right away. As soon as you put salt and then like mechanical energy into meat, it's gonna start getting real sticky and set up. So having all of your surfaces white oiled is a really easy way to speed up your cleanup time. Does take way less. All right, so we've just got a couple pounds here, so we're gonna go ahead and turn on the power bank that this is plugged into. That time I didn't forget to turn it on or plug it in. The power bank wasn't turned on. So we're putting down a couple of pieces of pork, a couple of pieces of beef. And the reason I'm mixing it is when I go ahead and start putting the seasoning in and mix it, I don't want to spend too much time making sure that there's, an equal portion of beef and pork in each bite. I want that to kind of start to be done by the grinder. So we'll just make sure we've got everything going. And for any of you who have done a bunch of grinding, and especially a secondary grind, you'll see how much faster this is, because I'm done. After this, I don't have to do another grind. Next week, we're gonna be the day before St. Patrick's Day, so we're gonna do a bunch of beer brats, and we're gonna cook them we're gonna add different beers to them, and we're gonna cook them in different beers and see which one we like the best. I've done everything you can basically think of as far as cooking brats in beer. Guinness, dark beers, light beers. I've done some crazy ones, and I honestly don't seem to find a huge difference in it. I know that some of you will be screaming heresy, but I don't find it to be that big of a difference. The last time I did it, I didn't add any onions into how I was cooking them. So this time we'll add onions and see if that makes a difference. All right. So we're just going to turn that on and then off real quick. Helps get the auger out. Save as much as the meat as we can. I know that this lug weighs 1.7 pounds. So when we weigh this, we're just going to remove 1.7 pounds from it. And for this, I'm using my Ascali M series scale. That's telling me I've got 11.7, which is perfect, because if this weighs 1.7, that means I've got 10 pounds. I know it's 0.64 ounces of this seasoning per pound of meat, so I need 6.4 ounces of seasoning. So we'll just go ahead and get that measured out real quick. This is an Ascali precision scale. For something like this, you don't really need that But if you're starting to get down to your ingredients where you're adding things to sausages, jerky, anything like that, like if you buy, say, Bold, but you want to add more spice to it, so you start adding cayenne pepper or hotter peppers to it, and you need to be really, really accurate. This scale will weigh in fractions of grams up to, I think 5 grams. After 5 grams, it's like 0.5 grams. But you could weigh, potentially, you could weigh like 0.2 of a gram on the scale. So for an ingredient scale, it's incredibly useful. Very, very accurate. So let's tear that out, get my seasoning, and I've also got some cheese that I'm gonna add into this. Plus, I'm also going to top some of them with just regular American cheese, which is the best cheese for cheeseburgers. I don't care what anyone says. But the other ones, I've got some whipped Philadelphia cream cheese. We're gonna try putting those on them. So we're gonna try a little bit of both. All right, we're looking for 6.4. Yep, we sell white oil at Walton's. We're just a little bit over 6.4 because I was reading that like an idiot. So we're just gonna take a tiny bit out. Yeah, we sell it in 4 ounce or maybe even 1 ounce, like little containers, also like big jugs of it. And I have mine in a spray bottle. Makes everything way easier. I just go wipe everything down with a towel. Everything goes much, much easier. All right, so that is 6.43, so we are good there. I am going to pop that right in here. I'm gonna add just a little bit of beer. We will then chug that. All right, we're gonna get our cheese. We've got 10 pounds here. This is a 1 pound bag. I want it to be just under 10 pounds, so I'm gonna add most of the bag, but not quite all of it. Doesn't need to be at 10%. With sausage, I tend to think, unless you're making a bratwurst, which is at that point in my mind, add as much cheese as you want, because it's gonna be nice and kind of melty on the, once it comes off the grill. But if you're doing a summer sausage, a snack stick, anything like that, I tend to think 10% is too high. What I like to do, if I'm making a 25 pound batch, I will add 2 pounds of cheese to a 25 pound batch. That works out, I think, to like 7.5, something like that. 7.5%, which is a good amount in my mind. Because if I'm making a Willie's snack stick, I want Willie's snack stick to be the star of the show, and the cheese is just there. And, you know, it adds a little bit of fat, a little bit of creaminess, a little bit of flavor, but I don't want it to take over. That's even more true, in my mind, at least with summer sausage. A lot of people like eating their summer sausage with a slice of cheese. If you have cheese in the summer sausage and are eating it with a slice of cheese, are we even eating meat at that point? We're pretty much just eating cheese. Nothing wrong with cheese. I love cheese. Good Lord, you've probably not met, well, you probably haven't met me, but you probably haven't seen too many people who eat more cheese than I do. I will wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to my kitchen, melt a bowl of shredded Mexican cheese, put a little Frank's Red Hot, and eat it just like that with a fork. So I'm a cheese freak, but doesn't need to be added too much into meat. All right, so we've just got everything mixed in here. I'm being super careful to not overwork the meat. I don't want to get protein extraction here. I want my burgers to look like burgers and not like cured meat. All right. Let's see if I can we'll push this out of the way and pull my 11 pound stuffer into the way. Moved over. All right, so this is the 11 pound stuffer. I've got the suction cup feet on it. I'm gonna make sure that that's in frame before I adhere them to this table, because once that happens, it doesn't want to move very easily. I don't want to move it for no reason multiple times. Yep, I'm good. All right, so I'm just gonna push down on all the sides, make sure those suction cup feet activate. We sell those suction cup feet as well. Every once in a while, whoop, nice catch. Every once in a while, we'll run specials where we include the suction cup feet with this. and even sometimes the stuffer flusher eggs. But for right now, they're sold separately. This is the quick patty maker. As you can see, it's got a insert into it that is not our normal patty size. These are much, much smaller, right? Hopefully you can see the difference there. These are really good for slider size, and it's not what we're doing tonight, but they are also really good for smash burgers. Like, it will do the perfect size to just, you get a very, very thin patty that will fit a bun just about perfectly. But we're gonna go ahead and fill up our 11-pound stuffer. Now, this is an 11-pound stuffer, right? I've got 10-ish pounds of meat, but I've also got 6-point-something ounces of seasoning and about a pound of meat, or of cheese. So we're gonna be fairly close to all the way filled up here. Calling them an X number of pound stuffer is kind of a misnomer. We're too far down the road to change, as is everybody else in the retail stuffer industry. But the best way to do it really is by volume, like how many liters it can hold, because that's the true mark of how much it'll hold. I am all the way to the very tippy top of this. And as I was stuffing it, if you could see, I was pushing my hand down into it to make sure that I didn't have any air pockets in there. With something like the quick patty maker, that's not the biggest deal. If you have some air pockets, an air pocket will come in here and be pushed out by more meat coming behind it. But if we're doing something like, say, a snack stick, or definitely a summer sausage, that's a real problem. We don't want air pockets in there, and it's just one of those things. Develop good habits. So anytime you're stuffing one of your canisters, make sure you do that. Make sure you punch down at that, get as much of the air pockets out of there as you possibly can. And we'll go ahead and get this. Cheers. We should do a channel where I do nothing but chug beer. Those live streams would be very short and probably very amusing, because after I've had 3 or 4 beers, the wheels start to come off pretty quickly, especially if I'm chugging them. But I think it would be fun. I've got some patty paper here. This is 5.5 by 5.5. Perfect size for if we're doing these, right? This is the full size. But we're doing sliders, so we're gonna try and get a couple of sliders on each of these patty paper pieces. So to use this, all I'm gonna do, our 11-pound stuffer is a dual speed stuffer. It's got a gearbox in here with 2 gears on the back. One is a high speed gear that only is used to back the piston all the way up like that, or to get the piston down into contact with meat. Once we get in contact with meat, we switch to this lower gear, and that's what we use to stuff. We do that for a couple of reasons. The main one really is to protect this gearbox. If you try to use the high-speed stuffing feature on like snack sticks, you'd break your arm probably before the gearbox would break, but eventually the gearbox would break. So we always want to use that lower speed one. So we're just gonna hit this until that fills up, and look at that. We've got a perfect slider, and they will be the same size every time we fill one of these canisters. Now, what's the advantage of that? They're going to cook at the exact same rate. They're the same thickness, they're the same diameter. It takes all of the guesswork out of it, and it makes sure that when one of them's done, as long as your griddle, grill, whatever you're using, doesn't have too many hot and cold spots, everything's gonna be done once one thing is done. So, as you can see, it's just super fast here. It's bang. It's a quick little turn. With the full size patty makers in there, it does take probably about a half a turn. I believe these are 2.5 ounce patties, and our full size are 1/3 pound patties, right? So they're much, much bigger. And some of that obviously is going to depend on what you put into your meat. What kind of meat are you using? It's going to be different if it's pork, if it's beef, if it's deer. All of those meats have a different density. So they might be off by an ounce, something like that. So just keep that in mind. But it's super fast. We're always going to turn this handle until I'm satisfied with the amount of meat in there. And then I'm going to back it off just a little bit and let it go. We're building up a lot of pressure anytime we're using a sausage stuffer, no matter what we're stuffing into. I don't care if it's a big, thick summer sausage casing this big. When we're cranking that, we're building a lot of pressure. When we're talking about larger stuffers, like our 26-pound manual, going into snack stick size, you have to be ultra careful. Because if you're cranking that down, that piston's about this big. This one, for example, is about this size. That one's about that. The wider the piston is, the more force it takes to move it down through the meat. So when I'm pushing that over, if I let it go, it's going to come back and it can hit you in the head. It's never happened to me, but it has been close. So just be careful with that. Just like anything else with meat processing, I mean, all of this stuff is potentially dangerous, but everything's potential. Your car is one of the most dangerous things you're ever going to come into contact with. So just be careful. And certainly, absolutely, do not drink while doing this stuff. It's a terrible idea. Now, if this is as good as I think it is, or is going to be, I want my Walton statue to be prominently displayed in our entrance, and I want it to reflect a more fit, a younger John. So just keep that in mind, Allie, if you're in the comments. I want a 2019 John to be the model for my statue. Because this should be amazing. We thought of this today, and I was like, how have we never considered that before? I mean, we've literally, I think we've made every other type of meat product other than jerky. Excuse me, because jalapeno popper just won't work as a jerky seasoning. It has too many milk-based ingredients. But we've made snack sticks out of it. We made summer sausage. How we haven't made patties out of it yet, don't know. That's a miss by us. And when I say us, you probably mostly blame me. I am the one who's supposed to do like weird little experiments here. Just never occurred to me. All right. I don't want to overfill this canister as I'm going. If I do, I'll do one. So what you're going to see is it is going to push up around this clear plexiglass type thing. And then when I pull it out and push it down, I'm going to get a pretty pronounced bump on the bottom of that. We want to avoid that because it cooks weird. So just make sure you're filling it correctly. It might take you a couple of times of using the patty maker insert to get that right, like how much meat you should be filling in there. But once you get it, it's just like everything else. I always, anytime I'm making sausage with somebody who's never made sausage before, especially if we're making snack sticks, when I'm showing them how hard to hold the casing on, I always just grab their finger. I'm like, hold it that hard, and I just touch it. And they're amazed by how little pressure you should be putting on it. Because it's not much pressure, it is just, it's the consistency. Where we run into problems with the snack sticks or when we're holding it down too hard sometimes and then loosening, holding. So you just have to find it, and once you find it, it really is overused cliche, but it's like riding a bike. You won't ever forget it. Now, some of you, I don't know, I haven't looked at chat in a really long time, But some of you might be asking if you wanted to use this as smash burgers, why not just make balls out of the meat and smash them down? That is a perfectly valid way of doing it. The advantage to that way is you don't have a piece of equipment to clean. The disadvantage is they're not, unless you're amazing, they're not all going to be the exact same size. These are all the exact same size, and from someone who's made, I don't know how many hundreds of pounds of these patties now, the slider insert patties, it makes a huge difference just having them all be like the perfect size already. Everything's quicker, more uniform, or sorry, not quicker, everything's more uniform, which makes cooking easier. So I like doing it this way. I overfilled that one a little bit, so I just I turned it over and patted it down just a bit to try to mitigate some of that bump on the bottom of it. But in here, you've seen it before, but I can do it where you guys can see the canister filling up. Do that, and that one I pull this way. So it's just very, very simple piece of technology, but extremely useful. Especially when we're talking about making 3rd pound patties. It's kind of hard to see. Overfilled that one a little bit. You could see it came out of its cavity just a bit. So when I push that one out, I'm going to clean the outside with my gloved hand a little bit. And we're just going to fill the next one correctly, not like an idiot. Keep going. And we've probably got about 7 or 8 more patties to go. See how accurate I was there. 1, that's 2, 3, 4. That was a bad one. I'm going to stop doing them at this angle because I'm messing them up. 5. 6. 7. Yeah, that's probably off by about 2 or 3 patties. That's 8. That's 9. That's 10. Don't be 12. That's 11. And not quite 12. Okay. That one's a little baby patty. We're not gonna count that. All right. I've already got that grill going out there. I'm gonna grab some of this stuff, throw it on a cutting board. We'll bring it all out there. I've got bacon we're gonna cook. We're gonna cook a ton of things out there. So give me just a couple of minutes here. Start moving things around. Now, for you to see how good of a grip these suction cup feet do, yeah, it's in good frame. We'll take this off. Well, that one actually popped a lot easier. Usually it pops harder. Push it down a little bit. So I can rock that like crazy. So when I'm doing all this, like that's a lot of rocking. So I don't have to get a wood clamp and put it down there. So I just pull it. And then, see, these tight or close ones are tight. I probably made that look slightly more difficult than it actually was. But that's because in between me going home for the day and coming back in to do this, I worked out and I'm tired and I'm old. So I'm not as strong as I used to be. All right. We're going to cook, I think we'll do 6 of them. I'll do 2, do 4 with buns total, and then I'll do 2 that are like no buns whatsoever. So let's take these 4. I've got this little baby one, and then we'll take these 2. While I'm doing all this, I don't want to leave this meat out, so I'm going to throw it in the freezer. So you're going to have to entertain each other in the chat for a few minutes. The chat does not seem terribly active tonight. So let me throw this in the freezer. I will be right back. And you should be able to hear me all the way into the freezer. So, any excuse I have to hold anything like a waiter, I always do. So I'm holding this like an idiot and probably increasing the possibility of me dropping it, but whew, oh my God, that black freezer is so cold. -3 degrees right now in there. God, that's cold. So, whew, invigorating. All right. We're gonna grab this stuff. I'm gonna bring this out, and then I will come back for you guys in a, you know what? We'll go with you guys first. You get to go outside, and then I'll come back in. We're gonna verify there are the keys, so nobody's getting locked out tonight. Let's see if we can make sure we get the griddle all the way in there. Cool, that is still on. I'll be right back with our bacon and our burgers, and we'll get those cooking. I'll also bring out my phone, so it's a little bit easier to deal with chat, or not deal with, to answer any questions in chat. All right. It is funny how far behind me you guys are. Like you're a solid, I'm waiting. I think you're a solid like 20 seconds behind me, perhaps even more. Which usually you're pretty much right live with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, I said 20 and it was 19 dead on. I get so few things right. Don't take that from me. We are going to cook all this bacon, even though we're definitely not going to use even close to all of it. But you can never have too much bacon. Especially that piece on the floor there. God, bacon is not what it used to be. My entire life I have used inexpensive bacon. In general, I don't think it's something that is worth spending a ton of money on. But my God, it's gone down in quality. It's upsetting. The weird thing, I've been complaining for about 4 years now on the quality of pork butts. I tend to think that they're being pumped with way too much pork broth or water now. In the last, I would say, month to 2 months, that has changed drastically. And I'm getting pork butts of what I would say are basically the same quality that I used to get, with very, very little to nothing being pumped in there. Now we should get some lights on here in just a minute. So we're gonna close that. Or you don't care about me, you care more about the meat, I would hope at least. As we're doing this, I'm gonna run back through and just look at some chats. Right brand of Hormel is the best. Okay, so the brand you're buying obviously does matter. Huge portion, and what's up, Tex? But I would say it's across the board. Even like the better brands of Hormel, and I have a friend who's a manager of a Hormel plant here in Wichita, so I'm more partial to them, but across everything, I just think the quality of it has gone down. I'm also a snob when it comes to meat of any sort or of any sort. Costco has nice big pork butts. Sam's also, but believe it or not, that's where I've seen the biggest improvement in pork butts recently. Like, their pork butts were the ones that were kind of getting me upset a little bit. You know, if you get a Dillon's or a Kroger's pork butt and it's crappy, you get what you pay for if you're just going to the regular grocery store. But my problem was the fact that I was buying full cases of pork butts from Costco and Sam's, and they were crappy too. But like I said, something has changed. I'm nowhere near conceited enough to think I have anything to do with that. But I know a lot of people have been complaining about it. It's not just me. All right. Yeah, that back piece that's going to be a problem. All right, we'll close that for just a minute. And let's see what we got. You haven't made any bacon in a while. Maybe time for a dry cured bacon video. That's actually a great idea. So, for anyone who doesn't know whatever, we have a dry cured chamber. We have two of them. There's a 135L and a 420. The 135L is like a home use because it's smaller, and a 420L is for commercial or people who have a ton of money. We can make dry cured salamis out of that, like old world pepperoni salamis. But it really was a dry curing chamber. It wasn't a dry aging chamber. We're making some changes to that. The new 135L in the next couple of months will go low enough in temperature where you could buy a subprimal, like a rib roll, something like that, put it in there, and also dry age beef. So it'll be both a dry aging and a dry curing chamber. The ones we have right now are technically just a dry curing chamber. I'm not the hugest fan of a dry aged steak. I'm sure there's a ton of people who are not going to like that. But it imparts, it changes the flavor of the steak too much in my mind. I think steak by itself, as long as we have a good steak, we have a good seasoning, and the cook is correct. And when I say cook, I don't mean like the person cooking it. I mean, you knew what you were doing cooking it. I don't think it needs to be dry cured. My problem with, it's not even a problem, because I'll eat a dry cured steak, don't get me wrong, at all. But it adds extra flavors to it that don't need to be there. Specifically, I'm talking about that nutty flavor that is not what I want in a steak. Right? I don't want a nutty steak. I want a steak flavored steak. So, that's my personal opinion. But if you do like it, our new chamber will do that. I'm also, with a lot of things, my palate is not most people's. Oh, those are nowhere near done. We're going to kick those up. All right. Look back at chat. These should be turned on by now. My lights out here should be on. Eat a little piece of bacon. This is also how I like bacon. Do you see how that's like firm but floppy? Like it's a little bit of both. I don't like crispy I don't like charred bacon. I like it to be able to stand up, but have some movement to it. Same way I like pizza. And you can trust me with food. Look at me. I am the classic American male figure of somebody who likes to eat. Yes, all right, so that's a good point from Dwight. The trimming of that can be a nightmare. When you're dry aging a steak, that entire outer rind has to go. That's not fun. Like, A, we're losing a lot of meat just through moisture coming out of the meat. And then B, we're also cutting off a good amount of that outside. So you could lose 30% of your meat. If you put a 10-pound subprimal in there, you might end up with 7 pounds of meat left. But again, I don't want to start a fight here because I'll eat a dry aged steak, no problem. I think I prefer them not dry aged. Medium rare bacon. If you're shopping for a grinder, I'd go with the 22. Whoever he's answering that with, I fully agree. 22 is what I've used here for the entire time I've worked at Walton's. When we first got our own line of grinders in, that's the one I chose because I don't think most home processors need a 32. I would say by far a better idea would be to buy a slightly smaller grinder. If the difference is between a 12 and a 22, that's a huge gap. The gap between a 22 and a 32 is not that big. So save that 100 and whatever, I think it's like 150 bucks now, and go buy an actual sausage stuffer or upgrade something else. It's a better idea. So as always, Tex, that is good advice. Oddly enough, I asked ChatGPT as a joke the other day, who works at Walton's? It listed Brett, Sandy, who's his wife, the 2 boys, Austin and Dylan, and myself, because I'm in all the media stuff. And then it listed Tex as thinking he worked for Meatgistics in Walton's, but who it didn't get was Allie. So Allie is my boss, who is Brett's daughter, and Tex works here, according to ChatGPT, but Allie does not. So if anyone has been on these, you've seen Tex in these or definitely on Meatgistics. So, all right. So I don't think I missed really any other texts or chats. Yeah, chat's been pretty quiet tonight, which is fun. I have no problem with that. We're going to temp these. Luckily and oddly, I actually had the cover on that. Normally I'm an idiot and I don't put it back on, so we would have to go clean that. But we're at 150. All right, we are good. We're at 155 and above. Turn all those off. Immediately cut my gas, or I will never remember to do it. And let's go make some sliders. So, yeah, I'm an idiot. What did I forget to do? Obviously, I didn't put my cheese on those cheeseburgers. So we have to move quick here to make sure we have enough heat left to melt some of that cheese. So we might be a little bit of jogging going on here for just a couple of seconds. Keys go in the pocket so I don't get locked out. All right. And for anyone who hasn't been with us since the very beginning of these live streams, I'm sure Tex is chuckling right now because there was a time where Tex had to text my boss, who luckily is good friends with him, and have him remotely log in and let me back into the building because I had locked myself out. Without that, I would have been stuck out here and would have had to have walked home eventually. All right. Okay. Let's get these on here. Ooh, that's a terrible angle. I apologize for that. Let's get a little bit more down. All right, so since these are jalapeno poppers, 2 of them are going to get a dollop of cream cheese. We will just pop that on there and hopefully that will melt a little bit. And that is doing a nice job melting those. We'll let that sit. We are going to put bacon on them, but for right now, we're just trying to use all the heat from that patty to melt as much of that cheese as we can. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. And we will start cutting up some bacon to put on there. This is the Walton's 8-inch chef knife. It's an extremely inexpensive multi-use meat processing tool. So if you're on Walton's and you're buying something else, if you're looking for something to get you over our $500 free shipping, the chef knife, it's not expensive. It's a good piece of equipment. It's not something like my Victorinox knife, which is my baby. It's not something you have to baby. This doesn't get dishwashed, it gets hand washed. I try to be very careful when I'm sharpening this with the True Hone. Instead, I try to use the steel on it because I want this to last forever. This one goes in the dishwasher. It gets passed through the True Hone every time I want it to be even the littlest bit sharper because it's inexpensive. All right, let's throw a couple of pieces of bacon on here. But the first thing we're gonna eat is just one of these with no anything else on it. I wanna see what it's like with, oh yeah, that's getting nice and melty. Our social media person who is the one who added, or recommended that we try adding cream cheese to it is gonna be very happy how well that melted. All right. So here is just the patty by itself. So this is Jalapeno Popper Sausage seasoning in a slider, and ignore the shape of it. That's because it wasn't a full one. Oh! That is, oh, holy. All right. For a year or so now, my favorite patty seasoning has been the Parmesan garlic patty patty mix, which is awesome. It's phenomenal, but it's like 20 bucks for enough to do 10 pounds of meat, right? Just 10 pounds of meat. This is better than that. This is legitimately better than that. And it does 25 pounds of meat for, oh geez, that's expensive too. $29.99. So it's expensive, but it's, you get way more out of it than you would. Oh, let me grab a beer. I'll be right back. That is phenomenal. These are all getting frozen, and well, Austin will get some. I will give Austin some of them. I'll give Allie some of them too, but I'm not going to share these. These are incredible. Now, one point, I did do something that I don't normally do with my patty mixes here, is it's probably about 60% pork and 40% beef. So that might be playing into it a little bit, right? Pork fat is better than beef fat for a whole host of reasons. So that could be a part of it, but the instantaneous flavor of this is just phenomenal. All right, so this is the one with the bacon, and I've got some Philadelphia whipped cream cheese on this. I did the whipped one because I figured it'd melt a little bit better. All right. Allie, is Allie in chat? I haven't seen Allie in chat. I want my statue big. We need to immediately get this made into a specific patty seasoning. This is unreal. Oh, I wouldn't change a single thing on this. If we move this to a patty seasoning, same exact seasoning, smaller packages, because most people don't want to make 25 pounds of patties. Oh. That is the best patty I've ever had. Yeah, I think I'm confident in saying that. Oh. Is anyone in chat from Wichita? I know it's a long shot, but if anyone's in Wichita, I will legitimately put a few of these aside for you. There is 0% chance that you will not be absolutely in love with them. All right, now we're gonna try it with the American cheese. Here's the problem for me, is I'm a 100% American cheese is the cheese you use for a cheeseburger of any kind. I might be wrong here, because that with the Philadelphia cream cheese is gonna be hard to beat. Oh my God, it's better. It's better with the American cheese. Oh my God. Some sort of a religious experience I think I'm having in my mouth right now. All right, so here's the ingredients for jalapeno popper sausage. It is a deep label. There's a lot in here. So bear with me here. Salt's the first ingredient, almost always is. Then we've got dehydrated jalapeno peppers, spices, and then we have sour cream powder, which it lists everything that's in the sour cream powder. Degerminated yellow cornmeal. No idea why that needs to be in there. It's got Parmesan cheese, cheese culture, going on about what's in the cheese culture. And then we've got a calcium, I'm going blind, but it's a preservative. And then natural fruit and spice extractives and dry vinegar. That is a perfect patty seasoning. And it says the word sausage on it. So if you're gonna make patties in any time in the next couple of weeks, months, jalapeno patty flavored sausage, a 1-to-1 mix. Like, don't change how much you should use per pound of meat from sausage to patties, and then do 60% pork, and I use just pork butt, and 40% some sort of beef, and whatever is cheapest. Cause, oh my God. All right. Did anyone said they are from? I need a dark beer. Missouri's close enough if you want to drive, man. I'll throw a couple of these in a freezer for you if you're not going to be here for a couple of months. And I'll put your name on it. Because I'll put that up against anything. And I think if we made smash burgers out of them, I think they'd be even better. That, oh my God, that smash burger, patty, piece of American cheese, patty, cream cheese, and let that cream cheese melt. And I think we're at the point where we're winning awards. Holy crap, that's good. Oh. All right, so if we're doing 25 pounds of patties, most of our patty seasonings are fairly inexpensive, but they do either 6 or 10 pounds. If you took that and divided that out, $30 for 25 pounds, it would be about the same as our average patty seasoning. This is better than any of them. I'm fairly confident in saying that this is better than the Parmesan garlic butter, which is amazing. That's better. It's better than my longtime favorite roasted garlic and onion. It's definitely better than the regular jalapeno mix. There's none of our patty seasonings match that. That is freaking unreal. So, if you're in the middle of the US and you shop at small to medium-sized meat processors, I would hope in the next year or so, you start seeing jalapeno popper flavored patties available for sale, because we need to get our commercial processors using this. They'll clean up. The other thing, and I know most of you have already seen this, next year you should start seeing Walton's peppery au jus jerky everywhere. Like if you shop at any of our customers, you should be able to buy Walton's peppery au jus jerky. It is the best jerky seasoning I've ever had, and it's not even remotely close. I've made the Walton's Bold jerky for 7 years, pretty like faithfully. I'll make pepper and garlic because it's awesome, or I'll make Colorado, something a little bit more basic. But the second I tried that peppery au jus, I never wanted to make another jerky. And I haven't since I found it. It's absolutely, or since we made it. I guess I didn't find it. But yeah, this is on that level. This is as much of like almost a revelation of, oh my God, this needs to be a thing, as that peppery au jus. God, that's good. Yeah, pepper and garlic is awesome. Here's the deal with pepper and garlic. I don't know how it does it. It adds a buttery texture to your jerky. I have no idea how it does that, but every time I have a piece of jerky that's pepper and garlic, I'm like, it just eats better than most jerky. It's insane. It is not as good as this. My God, I'd eat that all day. All right, so any questions about anything whatsoever? I will stick around for a bit. If anyone has any questions about things that were not this, just meat processing questions in general, let me know. I could be number 6. I don't know what I missed there. I could be number 6. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm sure it's funny. I just don't understand it at the moment. You'll probably explain it in a second. And I'll go, oh, what an idiot I am. Yeah, it would. And I don't think in a good way. I would do it just exactly how I did it, which was 60-ish% pork butt, 40% lower fat beef. Just a cheap, lower fat piece of beef you can find. The only thing, and I'm glad I didn't do it, I almost did. I almost grabbed some bone marrow that I had and put it in here. But if I put that in here, I'd think that was the reason I like this as much as I do. So the fact that I didn't add that makes me happy now. Fair enough. Good question. I'll get that. I'll give you a link and the SKU. Sorry. I assume you're talking about the seasoning. Oh, it's in the description. Actually, do me a favor. If you want to go to that, if you want to buy it, even if you just want to visit it, go down to the description. I made links. So I've got the Jalapeno Popper Sausage, I've got the quick patty maker, and I have the insert. So click on those links if you wouldn't mind, because that will help us with some tracking, some stuff. So a little bit easier. Bought a house yet? It's a good question, Ryan. Do we want to talk about that? Because no. Damage to the roof, that will be insurance. Damage to the stone on the side of the house. They had a stonemason come out. He said, I don't think it's a big deal, but buyers are being careful. Totally understand. So I'm splitting the cost with them to get a structural engineer out, just to verify, like, hey, this is just like occasionally a piece is going to pop off and you have to put it back on. It's not a big deal. But I'm very hopeful. I'm going to go see 2 more houses day after tomorrow. And then as long as everything goes well with my house, the next month and a half, I'm finally out of that house after 2.5 years. What a nightmare it's been. No, not that expensive. Oh, do you mean the roof? The roof will be insurance. So, but the engineer coming out, I'm splitting the cost with them, and I was, as soon as someone said like, "Hey, this is what it'd be," I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it right now." Like, not even a question. Okay, how do you think it tastes with venison? Now, I assume you're talking about this, the jalapeno popper. I've made jalapeno popper venison brats. 80% venison, 20% pork fat. Not pork, but pork fat. And they were phenomenal. Absolutely excellent. So I assume you're talking about this. If, however, you're talking about the peppery au jus, it's the worst news in the world. Like, I would give up selling my house if Walton's peppery au jus was good with venison, or as good with venison as with beef. It's just not. So no, I don't think peppery au jus is good with venison. This, however, would be phenomenal with venison. Just make sure you're adding pork fat at about 20%, somewhere in that range. Ooh. Good Lord. We have cracked the code here, gentlemen. This is absolutely phenomenal. If anyone is just joining us, jalapeno popper flavored sausage seasoning in a patty at a 60% pork, 40% beef is, you're not going to get a better patty. Appreciate that as well. Yeah, dude, it killed me. Listen, that was one of the seasonings that came in, and I didn't, like, I helped formulate it and whatever, but I didn't know a ton about it. I made a 25-pound batch. I opened the smoker, and it was the first jerky we'd ever done in this new smoker, and my heart dropped through my feet. I was like, oh no, I ruined it. Like, something's wrong with the settings. Like, they all look burnt. And then I got closer. I was like, no, they're not burnt. They look like little briskets. And then I tasted it, and my life has never been the same. All I can think about anytime I taste jerky is that's not as good as the peppery au jus. But it's not good with venison. Or I don't like it with venison. I'm sure there are people out there who will like it with venison. I don't. So I wish I did. I wish I could tell you, like, yeah, it's amazing. It's not. Yeah, I don't think Austin would mind me telling you that. Oh. I am definitely going to gorge myself on these in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to hang around. It's 8:07. I'll hang around to 8 till 8:10, just in case there are any more questions about anything. I can't explain to your children where babies come from, anything like that. But if you have meat processing questions, I'll happily answer them. Or Walton's questions. All right. It might be because I've now had a bunch of these. But I think I said I preferred it with the American cheese. And I'm wrong. After eating that second one of the two with the whipped cream cheese, and then going over to the American cheese one, it is better with the cream cheese. So if you are going to do this, just get some either whipped cream cheese or just let cream cheese sit out for a while. Put it on the burger as soon as it comes out of the, however you're cooking it, it'll melt on there, and it is absolutely phenomenal. We're going to hang up. I'm going to call, I should talk to a few people on Meatgistics about this. But Austin and I have picked up where we left off on an old project, and Austin did something really good. He made a seasoning that is for steak that I was shocked at how good it was. And it was his first attempt. So I think we're on to something there. We've got a couple other ideas for like some interesting stuff coming up. Allie coming back freed up a bunch of everybody's time. So we've been able to like finally start like branching off and doing like kind of the cool, weird old things that we used to do. So it's been fun. All right, pepper jack, maybe some smoked provolone. Here's the problem. Oh, nope. For whatever reason, I read that incorrectly and started thinking you were talking about what the hot pepper cheese is. Because anytime I see pepper jack, I mean, I'm like, no, that's what hot pepper cheese is. Hot pepper cheese is a misnomer. It shouldn't have that word hot in there. We should call it Monterey Jack. We should call it pepper jack. We should call it something else. But that's what the vendor we buy it from is called. Same thing with something like we sell a summer sausage seasoning that's incredibly popular. People buy it, like commercial processors buy it like crazy. And it's called 107 Summer Sausage Seasoning. It's the boringest name in the entire world. And we can't change it when we market it or online, because when we send it to you, if you buy it saying that it's John's Super Awesome Summer Sausage Seasoning, and you get a bag that says 107, you're going to be like, what is this? So it's the same thing with the hot pepper cheese. Like, that's what it's called. But it is a misnomer. All right, guys, thank you. Enormous success. Perhaps the best thing we've done on a live stream yet. No, we made jambalaya once. We made jambalaya on a live stream. And in my opinion, the way we make jambalaya with the shrimp, with the rice, with the chicken, the ham, the pork, nothing beats that. But this is the best patty I've ever made, and definitely one of the best things I've done on a live stream. We will see you guys next week when we are doing a St. Patty's episode. I'll probably get some food coloring for the beer, and we're gonna make beer brats. We'll cook them in a Guinness or a dark beer. We'll cook them in a light beer, and then we'll probably cook them in, we'll cook them in some sort of traditional brown ale, like a Newcastle or something. Is that because I want to make Walton's buy me beer? Yeah, this is a good portion of it is why I want to do 3 different ones, but it's not the entire thing. There might be vague taste differences between the three, but what we will do with them, it's something I did last time and I really liked it. We're going to vacuum seal them, and then we're going to cook them sous vide and then just finish them up on the grill. This time though, Tex, I will add onions to the bag so we get some of that flavor. See you guys.